My name is Robert Turk. I am an author and game designer with Wicked Clever, and today we're going to be showing you my latest game, Fixers from the Floorboards. Fixers is a game being created for Zine Quest for Kickstarter. It's a small game about tiny people with huge responsibilities. So these are the people that are going to be playing with us today, showing off the game, how you get into it, and a little bit of the mechanics and the rules. Right above me, I have the wonderful Brittany Purr. Say hello, Brittany.
Hello.
And let people know where on the internet they can find you.
I am all over the place under my name, and I also operate a blog called obscurum.com, and that is obscuram.com.
Great, and I'll make sure to put that down in the links below the video. Mab Just Mab.
Hi guys, I'm Mab Just Mab, retired sideshow girl, and I'd like to spend all my time on the internet just doom scrolling. Actually, the place you can find me the most is Nat21 Adventures on twitch.tv Nat21 Adventures. Where I am one of the main cast members for the Tuesday night show, and I also do a lot of the other pickup shows here and there, thither and yon, along with the charming individuals on either side of me.
Awesome.
To the internet.
And the amazing Mayhemmer with the hair for miles. I love it.
Thank you.
Where can we find you?
Oh, I'm kind of all over the internet. Not as cool as Mab and Brittany. I'm still kind of finding my roots. But you can find me on social media as the Mayhemmer, just like my name is spelled. Just like these lovelies, I have been on Nat21 Adventures. I have been a little hiatus only because I now run the Dragon Con Burlesque show and the Pinups by the Pool Party. Because I am a nerdy burlesque performer, aka Nerdlesque, and I'm a cosplayer and costumer.
Awesome. And yeah, so that's our cast for tonight. They're gonna show off how all of this works, and you do need a couple of things to play Fixers from the Floorboards. You do need a deck of cards, a regular deck of cards with the jokers in it. You want to shuffle that deck up before you begin play. These cards are going to be used in the game for story prompts, which allow you to roll extra dice by answering a question that the card corresponds to. Some of those can be good, some of those can be bad. We're not worried about that yet. We'll get into that when we start playing the game. You will also need, I just dropped some noise tokens. You're going to need some tokens of some kind. 9 of them. I'm using old wooden buttons here as your noise tokens. These things will be placed on the table in front of all the players so everybody knows how much noise they are making. And the last thing you're going to need are some regular index cards. We're going to write some information about the setting, about the predicaments we're going to solve, and the Big Folk NPCs on those cards. And we're going to lay them out on the table so that everyone can see them, remember them, and make changes to them if they need to. This game is very player focused, very player driven. The last thing you're going to need is actually some dice, some 6-sided dice. Did everybody remember to bring dice? Now, the person running the game, that's me. We call him a weaver in the game. You can also call him the game master, but dungeon master, that has other connotations outside role-playing. And just kind of feels imperialistic, so I don't like the term. But the weaver in this does not need dice. The players are going to be the ones that roll them. Now, Fixers from the Floorboards is a game about Korrigan, which are little 4-inch tall people about the size of a action figure, Star Wars G.I. Joe, just like human beings, only much smaller, that have lived alongside humanity for as long as there have been humans. We don't know anything about them because they're really good at staying hidden and keeping secrets. But the mythology and the stories about little elves making shoes for the cobbler family that was going to starve, yeah, those are Korrigan. or sweeping up the floors because they were left a bowl of cream or sugar. Same creatures. But this game takes place not in a medieval historical setting. It takes place around the turn of the century in a more nostalgic to us time. Basically late Victorian, Edwardian, on through the Roaring 20s, all the way up until World War II. Any of that time period that we sort of look at through a sepia-tinted lens when we look back at history, that's where these guys and where this game is going to shine. But you're not sweeping floors or mending shoes in that time period. You're dealing with much bigger problems that humans may have, and you are playing as fixers, Korakin, trying to solve those problems. Korakin live, they have their clan. They live in a nest, but it's not really like a bird's nest or a rat's nest. It's just, they call it their nest, somewhere in the domain, which is the building in which they live in and the humans live in together. So you'll hear us use that term domain. That's the building. That's their territory that they're responsible for taking care of. You'll hear us use the term nest. That's where the Korakin sort of have their community hidden away. And you'll hear us use the term big folk instead of humans. That's what Korakin call them. They're big. They're huge. So we are actually going to be setting this game in a orphanage today. It's an orphanage up in New England in the United States. We set a date of 1907. And we're calling this the Rockland Home for Unwanted Children. So that's the very first thing. I know it's horrible, isn't it? That's the very first thing you do when you're setting up a game. Everybody gets together. You don't make characters beforehand. You're gonna make your setting and the details of the clan and the domain and all that together, and then you're gonna make characters. So at the top of one of these index cards, I'm writing Rockland Home for Unwanted Children, and we're gonna put that on the table. And actually, I'm gonna keep it back because I got to write some more on that card. I'm going to turn it over to you all because we're going to set down some details of the local Korakin clan, which is also recorded here on this setting card. So you all get to answer this as a group. And our first question, think about this Victorian orphanage, late Victorian, really more Edwardian orphanage. And we're going to say it's probably a former hospital. There's dormitory wings with bunk beds and bathrooms. There's a boys' side, there's a girls' side, there's a community dining hall, there's classrooms, a head office, an infirmary, a chapel, and a large outside yard. Okay, so a big place. You all are going to set the details of the clan. So you're going to have to answer some questions here. The first one is, where in the domain do you think the clan's nest should be located? Like, where's a good place that the Korakin can stay out of the way?
Infirmary? What do you guys think? Or the chapel? The chapel's a good place so that you can kind of hear everything that's going on.
Say the chapel only because with the name of Unwanted Children, I'm pretty sure the infirmary might get used a lot more than the chapel is.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So I say that the chapel.
All right.
Chapel too.
As if there is the giant display of candles where children are not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Get out so you can be under the giant display of candles.
The other thought I had though was on top of the confessional booth. No one's going to go up on top of the confessional booth, and then here we are. We get to hear everything.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dig the confessional booth.
All right, I'm writing it down. On top of confessional booth in the chapel. All right, the next question, while I finish writing that all down, how does the clan govern itself, and who is in charge?
You want to decide a system of government like on the fly? Who does that?
Yeah, that's indie role-playing gaming right there for you.
It's almost like we have to figure out how to govern ourselves without any real leadership. Anyway, Uh,
Anarchy. Anarchy.
It's
anarchy.
anarchy. It's total anarchy. On top of
How about socialistic capitalism? I don't know.
So we don't have to get that in depth. The idea
How about a
here
burner community? A burner community.
Yes,
A gift
burner
economy.
community.
okay, where everybody is expected to sort of be self-sufficient, but in an emergency, you'll all pull together and build a giant
And-
flaming.
By committee. By committee.
All right.
Yep. It's all
And
committees.
the last one is, what is something scarce that the clan always wants or needs?
Hear me out.
Uh-huh.
Ponies.
Wait, what did you say?
Ponies?
Pony? Oh, are we
Ponies?
thinking like a food, a resource item?
Yep, a food, a resource item. Ponies is probably a little big for...
Okay, so I have 2 important questions.
Uh-huh.
Question 1: is this a child-friendly game?
It can be.
Okay, question 2.
So it's not inherently unchild friendly,
Yes.
but it wasn't intended for children the same way like Weird Scouts was.
Okay, that's all I need to know because I just trying to figure out how. Anyway, well, there's a chapel, so there might be sacramental wine, so I don't have to worry about that. So what about candy? Because it's unwanted children. Are they really going to give these kids treats?
Okay. Yeah. So I mean that's
my-
absolutely.
that's my vote.
So candy and sweets, that's something the Korakin clan wouldn't get a whole lot of here because the kids don't get a whole lot of it. And yeah. That works. Everybody in agreement on that? Does that work?
Yes, but it's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Named unwanted children. This is already terrible.
It could
Yeah,
be
but
worse.
no-
We could have said love.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Love could be the thing that you're always missing. Okay, so we've filled out some details on the clan. We've put our setting. I'm gonna put that index card right there with my terrible handwriting, but that would go on the table so everybody can see it. And then the clan's done. That's all the details we need on the clan. The next thing we have to do is we have to establish the major NPCs of this game, the Big Folk who inhabit the domain. These are the people who will cause you trouble and provide problems and predicaments to fix. Each Big Folk gets their own index card and additional details about them. Anything that comes up in play, anything we decide about them in play, will go on the index card so that we all remember it. Since there's only 3 players plus me, only 4 people, I'm going to establish one of the NPCs. If you're playing with more people, the Weaver doesn't have to establish one of the NPCs. It's supposed to be really, really player driven, but we need more than 3 NPCs in this domain. So I'm going to start us off with the really obvious one, and I'm going to say Mrs. Gray is the headmistress, sort of the caretaker of the home for unwanted children. Now, I have given her a name and an occupation. Someone else has to name a secret or negative trait about this individual, Miss Hazel Gray.
She's a practicing witch.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's definitely a secret thing, especially in the early 1900s. She is secretly a practicing witch. And somebody else who is not Mab has to name a relationship or positive trait about this individual.
Actually cares about the kids.
She actually cares about the kids. There you go, unraveling my whole setting. I love it. Okay, so that's all we do to define this NPC right now. Her card goes down. Now, one of you gets to name an NPC and an occupation, age, or profession. One of the Big Folk that's going to be important to our story. But that's all you name about them. You just give their name and who or what they are.
Nurse Nancy.
Nurse Nancy. All right. Let's set an age for Nurse Nancy. Brittany, how old do you think Nurse Nancy is?
Late 50s.
Late 50s. All right. And then somebody that is not Brittany needs to name a secret or negative trait about this individual.
Has a secret stash of sweets.
Oh, she has a secret stash of sweets. Okay.
On
And that leaves
lockdown.
Mab to come up with a positive trait or relationship.
She secretly cares about the kids.
Nope, that one's already been used.
Oh, all right.
We already did that. I mean,
She is an amazing cook.
she's an amazing cook. Brittany has given the name of an NPC. Nurse Nancy goes on the table. So that leaves Mab or May to name an NPC and their age or profession.
Jonathan,
Jonathan.
the janitor.
All right. And somebody that is not May needs to name a negative trait or a secret about Jonathan the janitor.
How old is he?
Job.
He
Oh,
hates his
Johnny
job.
Cage. Oh,
Yeah, how old do you want him to be?
let's make him 25.
All right, so he's a young janitor. Yes.
So his secret is, this is going to tie in. He secretly wants to be an actor.
All right, hates his job, secretly wants to be an actor. Now we need a positive trait or a relationship about him.
Secretly teaches the kids acting.
Okay. Teaches the kids acting. That was Jonathan the janitor, Nurse Nancy. I think Mab, that leaves the last Big Folk NPC to you.
Father Michael May I. That's what
May
the
I?
kids call him.
May I?
But it's-
All right.
His last name sounds kind of like May I.
Okay, so we're doing Father Michael May I. Oh, Mab, how old is this priest? Is he a young priest? Is he an old priest?
Old.
Is an old priest? Okay. And
Yeah.
then we need a negative trait for this priest.
I got an idea for a secret.
Okay, and that doesn't have to be a secret. It can be a negative trait. These don't all have to be good people. They can be, but
Oh, I wasn't gonna make. I mean, I don't know if you consider this good. One of the teachers is actually his son that doesn't know that it's his dad. That's the priest.
oh, has an illegitimate son.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
And then a positive trait or relationship. Now, we've sort of defined a relationship, but it's not an open relationship. Like, nobody else knows about it. So, a positive trait or a relationship. That has to come from Brittany.
So, positive trait. He teaches singing classes.
That's actually what I was thinking. Was he's a good singer. Okay. So I'm gonna go back over all of these so we all have them in our minds. We are in the Rockland home for unwanted children. The nest for the Corrican is on top of the confessional booth in the chapel. And they operate sort of like a burner community by committee. When something needs to be decided, they all get together and argue it out until they've got an answer. And the thing that they most want, because it's not really a need, but they are always in want of sweets. That's a scarcity here. We've got Miss Hazel Gray, the head mistress. She is secretly a witch, and she actually does care about the kids, so it's no Miss Hannigan here. We've got Nurse Nancy, who's in her late 50s. She has a secret stash of sweets, and she is an amazing cook. So she might occasionally make some cakes or something, like if the kids have a birthday. Jonathan, the janitor, he's a young janitor. He hates his job because he wants to be an actor, and he is secretly teaching the kids acting. And I'm gonna define that a little bit more. He's not so much, he's teaching them Shakespeare.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Shakespeare thing.
Yeah,
too.
let's narrow it down, because acting, I could be teaching them vaudeville, and that's not gonna. I mean, that could also be our answer, but and then our last big folk is Father Michael May. His real name's Mayhew. He's an old priest, 65 years old. He has an illegitimate son who's a teacher at the orphanage, but he also is an excellent singer and teaches singing lessons. So those are that's our domain. We've set up, where we're gonna play, who lives there, what the clan is like, and now we need a predicament. Predicaments are the important big folk problems that the fixers must solve in order to preserve the health and harmony of the whole domain. The players should define as a group 2 or 3 predicaments. We're only going to do one major predicament, and write it down on the setting card. Or actually, we can do 2 or 3 if you'll have an idea for 2 or 3, and then we'll pick the one that seems the most important. Don't think about how to solve these problems yet. You're just thinking about what the problem is that exists. And the best predicaments tie into the secrets and relationships of the big folk that we've already defined. Now, generally, when you're playing this game, the more predicaments you establish, the more sessions you're going to have playing the game, because the goal is to solve those predicaments, and other ones could come up during play. So if you're just wanting to run a one-shot game, it's best to define a couple, but then pick one. Pick the one that's going to be the focus of. And if your solution involves leaving the domain, like say you had to go to another church down the road in the town, that's a big adventure when you're 4 inches tall. So that's probably not a good choice for a one-shot. That's going to take you multiple sessions to play through and deal with. All right, so, and this is open to anybody. What are some predicaments? And we write this back on our setting card. What are some predicaments, some major problems that exist in this domain, in this home for unwanted children? Anybody?
Mistress Gray is potentially going to be caught as a witch because she's getting sloppy around Mother Mayhew.
All right. So I'm going to write this as there's a risk of Miss Gray being found out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that would probably go over pretty bad.
Yeah.
They're probably not burning.
I mean, they're enlightened. Yeah, they're not burning them, but they are enlightened. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that is a predicament. There's a big risk of Miss Gray being found out. Okay. Anybody else? May, you had an idea.
What about there's a new teacher that is just completely terrible to the kids? I mean, It's a trope, but
It's a trope. We are adding a NPC, so give me a name.
Oh, Miss Ratchet.
Ratchet.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
I mean, is that copyrighted?
I have no idea, but for a YouTube video, yeah, whatever. We're playing a game here. Miss Ratchet is terrible to the kids. What subject does she teach?
Etiquette.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Well, I didn't spell it right, but we now have a new NPC, and anytime we add a Big Folk NPC, or an important NPC, it could be a Korakin, but the story is really about the problems of Big Folk, we add a card. So now we have the new teacher, Miss Ratchet, teaches etiquette, and she is terrible to the kids. Getting her fired or teaching her a lesson to be nice to the kids, that is definitely a predicament that the Korakin could, the fixers could tackle here as something important to do. All right, do we have any other major predicaments? Matt, did you have any ideas that you wanted out there?
the state was sending an inspector to the orphanage, and the orphanage is not in good condition.
All right. And when we say it's
So
not in
what-
good condition, is it physically not in good condition? Like the building is leaking and crumbling? Or
Well,
is
the
it...
janitor's really not into his job, so it's
Right.
all like half buttocked.
Yep.
It's,
I like that.
is he janitor? Is he groundskeeper?
Well, he's probably both. He's a out of
Yeah.
work actor, is what he is, and yeah. All right. Well, these are all big things. So we're gonna pick one that we're gonna focus on when we show the mechanics here. What's the first one of these that we want to solve? The risk of Miss Gray being found out as a witch, the horrible Miss Ratchet, or the fact that the state inspector's on the way and the orphanage it's just filthy. It's not even sanitary at this point.
Well, I kind of want to go with the witch one for some reason. That one's very intriguing to me.
All right. Okay. So the predicament that our fixers are going to have to solve first is covering up and hiding Miss Ratchet's witch stuff. Yeah?
Yes.
All right.
Hide
And
the witch stuff.
we'll pick that up in the next video. Thank you for watching how to set up the start of Fixers in the Floorboards with Brittany Purr, Mab Just Mab, Mayhemmer, and me, Robert Turk. We are going to do a second video exploring this Miss Gray being a witch and show you the mechanics and all of that. But if this is all you needed to see, hey, thanks for watching and have a great day.